Next topic, a lot of people were talking about is that is rumor. There was a rumor going around that Leonardo's dating, and apparently they're friends from the research today, but dating this. I think she's a model, and she's 19, and the man is almost 50.
19,
and people are criticizing. And apparently, he's saying that he's disgusted by the rumors that he's known her for years, so he knew her when she was underage, and that they're just friends and they're cool. Everything is cool. And he's distraught by the rumors, but. It's opened up to a wider conversation on.
Okay.
People are like, "Well, it's legal. How are you going to criticize the man?"
True.
What are your thoughts on it? Like, what?
Well, I mean, I think
is it predator? Would you say it's predatorial if you are 50? And I think so.
Hell yeah.
I think it's like this is a child. Like, even though legally, you won't get in trouble if you have sex or whatever. This is 19, bro. I was a kid.
That's a 30-year-old. That's a 30-year age difference.
I don't care what anybody says. Like,
and that is, at that age, bro,
like
you are
not
way
a
too
child,
impressionable.
but like, yeah.
Way too impressionable.
I already know how I was.
To be dealing with somebody that's 30 years or elder.
Exactly. I don't agree with it. I think, but see, my thinking is after 25 to 30, somewhere in that range. I haven't in my mind come up with a number, but I'd say probably about 27. If you want to date someone at Leo's age, you old enough. I think you're old enough. But that's a lot. That's a jump. That's a jump.
I suppose.
By then you should be on your own. You have a lot more life experience. Who's anybody to say at that point? Some people still criticize it.
I would probably date somebody at that age if I was like, in my late 20s. I definitely would. But I do think that there's a difference.
Somebody in their late 40s.
Yeah, I would do it. But I do think that there's a difference. I do think there's a difference, though, between a young man dating an older woman versus an older man dating a younger woman.
Yeah, and the thing I wanted to talk about is just like it doesn't get commented the same way, but like when a older woman dates a younger man, it almost seems like it gets like a yes girl kind of thing. But the other way around.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And I'm talking about like 25 plus. Let me just clarify. I already told you that my age range, 25 to 30. I don't think you should say anything.
Right. I think most people would agree with that.
Still comment on that. People still comment on that. Where it's like, there are a lot of, I've seen older women comment on a man who's 40, 50 dating a 25-year-old or 30-year-old. You're a creep. She was a child when you were 30, or she was a baby.
Because I think it's the gender role thing.
You're a creep. But then the other way around, it's kind of like empowering. It's like, oh, get that young D. This is just me repeating what I've seen with my own eyes on Twitter multiple times.
I've heard that. I've heard that too.
Whole comment sections in agreement with these things.
I think it's just gender role things. A lot of times when we look at men in relationships, we look at them as the quote unquote leader, the provider, the protector. And so if you're looking at an older man trying to lead and protect and provide for someone who's barely of age, you look at that like grooming. But if it's the other way around, because women are more so looked at to be led in relationships, more so to be protected, this, that, and the third. If you see them with a younger woman, with a younger man, you're probably not thinking in the same thought, because you don't in your mind imagine that they have the capacity to do that. It's some sexist shit, but I think that's just the reality. That's the way I see it.
And I think it's just like we attribute value where it's like, and this is like what people say, whether it's true or not, I guess but this is what I've seen, people think is commonly agreed upon. When a man dates, and we can get into the racial component of it, but when a man dates a younger woman, it's just kind of seen as normal, and it's kind of like, I think people see, like, if you see like,
it's common.
They have a lot of magazines that are like sexiest men, like world's sexiest man or whatever. They have like Idris Elba age men on there.
Yeah,
like it's like as a man gets older, it's kind of like he's more established, and if you keep yourself in shape, you could do well with younger women.
Yeah,
versus the other way around, a lot of women are criticized for their age. They're criticized for their age. After the 20s, maybe early 30s, you start getting more scrutiny, and the pool doesn't work the same. I think it's harder for an older woman to get with a younger man than it is for an older man to get with a younger woman. I don't think that dynamic is equal in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
So when an older woman pulls it off, I think it's celebrated.
It's also proven. Yeah, it is celebrated, and it's also proven. It's almost like down to like a science, because they do take polls on this stuff, and they do find out that most men of all ages prefer women around that age range of like 20 to 25, and maybe even younger, like 18, 19. So I don't know if that's like because I know a lot of people try to break it down to a science and be like, well, that's because, at a certain age, they're not able to have children at the same da. But I don't know if that's what it really is. I don't know if it's an evolutionary thing or anything like that. I might be serious and making it too serious, but that is proven though. That is proven. I'm not necessarily like that. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about age. I'm more so like if I find you attractive, I find you attractive. Like what it do?
Yeah.